Hi, guys, and welcome back to another episode of The Abroad Affair. It's Tien and
Meliva.
And today we are going to do things a little bit more differently than we normally do. As you guys know, there's a lot going on right now in the world, and we felt that it is important for us who have a platform, whether it's big, small, or, in between. It's important to use this to, bring awareness, voice yourself, and also, if you can, educate and spread information and love. I would love to also introduce you guys to our very good friend and executive producer, Keegan Shepherd. Welcome to The Abroad Affair.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
The reason why we wanted to bring you on here today, many of you might not know, but Keegan is also my partner. I was not educated enough, and I would still say that I still have quite a lot to learn. But I actually learned quite a bit from you. And before we discuss furthermore, I would just like to ask both of you here today, how do you guys feel right now when you sit here?
I would say same as you. I knew what was going on, but not to that extent. Seeing all of this and being fed by media as well, where you see all these children suffering, like when I say kids, like babies, little kids, like it brings me to tears. Like the only thing I can imagine is I'm trying to put myself in the situation, which I can never. But I've got little nephews and a little niece, and like seeing all of that, just like it makes my heart bleed, basically. So I feel horrible.
Yeah. And how do you feel, Kian, about this? What do you think the social media, how do you think that has impacted you?
I think very similarly. And I think we're in a time of social media where seeing things like this, it kind of forces you to pay attention. And want to know more about what's been going on. When you see like what's been happening in Palestine, all the destruction and all the loss of life, especially to like young kids, you want to question, why is that happening and why is it not being stopped and what's been going on all this time. So I think, I'm no expert either, but it kind of makes you want to know more. And I think we live in an age of like information where it's a good thing that we don't rely so much on the mainstream media anymore, because by and large they can spread misinformation and you never know what agendas might be there in the background. But now we're in a place where social media gives you first-hand accounts of like what's happening on the ground. You have people who are actually living in that situation, so you get to see a whole new side.
Did you dig, like when all of this started, were you super aware of what was happening before?
There's been times in the past, so it kind of comes in waves where the masses will be like posting about it. There'll be protests happening in the streets and all that sort of thing going on. Now has not been the first time it's happened before. So around about those times when it's happened before, obviously that caught my attention. I saw everything that was happening then. And it's not just for Palestine as well. It's for all like the stuff that's kind of going on in the world. So I like to also be informed of what's going on. So around about that time, like one such time when it happened before, I just chose to like look into it further, just so I could be more informed myself before I spread any information. Because whether or not you have a big platform in times like this, I think the reason the information is spread this far is because collectively people have decided to post it. And no matter who they reach, they still manage to reach some people. And I think people are starting to wake up as well.
Due to these platforms, people can actually use them not only to spread awareness, but also to educate others. Do you think that's a good thing, or would you say that it should be outside of social media?
No, I think that's a really good thing. Because if we leave it up to like other people, for example, if you have the mainstream media, propaganda has always been a tool that whoever has control of the mainstream media has used to spread misinformation or push a narrative that may not necessarily be the truth. So now we have creators online or people who use their platform to spread resources for education so that we don't have to rely on mainstream media. So I think it's a really important tool that is one of the good things about like this day and age.
Why do you think there's so many people that cares now compared to, you said this has happened before, right?
Yeah. So I think never before has it been so graphic, like the things we're seeing. Obviously, what we're going to see on TV or in the news is always going to be censored because like there's only so much that they can show on one hand. But now we have, like, for example, with the situation in Palestine, journalists on the ground who's like put their lives at risk to show people everything that is genuinely happening there. Those who have been documenting everything and sharing it on their social media platforms. So people really get now a whole different and I'd say almost uncensored account of what's really happening on that side. And I think now more than ever, it's been the most like horrific things that you're seeing on social media. So like people are really waking up to that and seeing like this is really like injustice and so on.
I have also seen that people with bigger platforms with millions of followers are also sharing, what's been going on in the world. For example, Kelani, who is an artist, she has been extremely active. She's been extremely vocal about her stand with Palestine. What do you guys think is the reason that others might share and others may not?
I would say, for my own personal thing, I think there's a lot of people. You can't blame people for not sharing either, because there's a lot of people doing it differently than you might do it. So there's a lot of people that I know, for instance, they're behind the scenes. They're donating. They're packing. I've got friends even here in Dubai packing up aids equipment for all of these people, but necessarily not posting anything on social media. So like you never know what people are doing behind the scenes either. So I wouldn't go ahead and say like you should do this or you should do that. Obviously, I think it would be a good idea if you do have a big platform that you can share. But I also think that there are a lot of people where it's I don't know if it's too overwhelming to be on the social media at the moment. I can say from my own perspective, when I open my phone in the morning, it's horrific and like it sets the mood for the whole day, and you feel so bad about this. So you want to do something, but it's also it's a hard stage to be in.
Yeah, of course.
But then you have to put yourself in the situation. Imagine if that was you, or imagine if that was your family there. So you would want people to share that, right? So I don't know.
No, I get that.
Tough.
Like I have a friend group, and we like to we talk about this a lot as well. And we always say, for others, it's exactly like you say, there are a lot of people who are doing things behind the scenes. Not everything is being published. So you can't really judge someone for not sharing. Again, I agree with that. If you choose and you can voice yourself and spread awareness on social media, I think that's a good thing to kind of like open people's eyes a little bit more. But I also think that, for some people, it's just too much to see. I don't have kids myself. And, my friends who have kids have said, they can't even open and watch these images because, as we said before, never before has it been this graphic. And it's not like, how when you see something horrible happens in a movie, and you be like, oh, this is CGI or this is edited. This is real life. It's real people.
It's also because you can't unsee it.
Exactly.
Like once you've seen something, you can't unsee it. And some of these videos are so horrible that you sometimes wish you haven't seen it because it's so horrific. On the other hand, as you said as well, like this is the time where people need to see it. But for me, it was just such a beautiful thing to see, a demonstration beyond. Someone did like a video taken in Copenhagen with like from a drone perspective. And thousands and thousands of people showed up. And that was kind of moving to see that even though you're not Muslim or you're not Christian or you're atheist or you're Buddhist or whatever you are, you're still a human being.
Yeah.
And whatever is going on at the moment, it's something that you just have to do something about. That, like, if you don't have the money to support, but at least you've got the support as a human being.
To show up.
To show up.
I have a friend. For as long as I've had her on Instagram, years, she's been posting and active and speaking up for the people of Gaza, for the Palestinian people. It does make me think a little bit harder, if that makes sense, to see somebody you know, and not just an influencer, but somebody you went to school with or somebody that you are acquainted with, being so passionate about something that is so important to be aware of. It does make me feel like, shit, I actually need to open my eyes a little bit more, and not just because she's telling me to do it, but it's because it's the right thing to do for me.
You don't have to be an expert in what's going on. You just have to be a human. And like, if you can help another human in need, well, you probably should. But again, we can help everywhere.
Many
it's
ways,
not, it's not just what's happening right now. It's like, where do you start and where
does it end?
when does it end?
What do you think all of us here can do better to help or to contribute, to support? What personally do you guys believe we can do?
I think it's do what you can, and what you feel is right for you. Like, if you feel like you should educate yourself more on what's happening or what's been going on or everything else that's going on in the world, then do that. If you want to volunteer, like physically, to help pack boxes for aid or whatever that may be, donate, then I think whatever feels right for you. Like, everyone's way of showing solidarity and support is not always going to be the same as the next person. And whether it's using your platform or your voice to speak up or donating in other ways, then just do what feels right for you.
Do you think it's also good to inform friends of yours in your circle who might not be as aware as yourself?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt. You should be able to have these like uncomfortable conversations with the people you surround yourself with. And I think that's always going to be important, whether it's related to this topic or to others. I think it's always good to have those conversations.
So with all of this happening, a lot of people also start to boycott certain companies. What do you guys think about this?
Yeah, I feel like it's just another way of activism, right? These companies are funding something that's just not right. It's kind of good then that people stop putting their money into it.
There are obviously an X amount of companies that I am referring to. I do not want to say any names. Will you both honestly say that you will contribute to boycotting these companies by not spending your money there anymore?
It may be for some people, but at the end of the day, it's a choice. Like, whatever it may be, there's so many companies out there that you have a choice.
It's tough, right? Because then you might have people that is agreeing, like, let's say that supporting whatever is happening in this situation, right? But they might lose their job now because people are boycotting the company that they work for. So I don't know. It's like, then you can say, okay, but then you're losing your job for a good cause. But if you then can't support your family because you've been...
It's very complex.
It's very complex. It's very, very complex. But I get why a lot of people would do it. But it's it's a tough one.
Yeah.
And just coming back to that as well, that might be another reason why certain people choose not to speak out.
Yeah.
Just because of they have things to lose.
Yeah.
They might face certain repercussions because in this day and age, free speech is not so free for some people.
So, again, to my question, would you say that both of you will stop putting your money to certain companies?
Probably not.
Yeah. I think as far as possible, I would try.
Okay.
I don't know. I need to see the list.
I will give you the list.
I'm
But-
getting boycotted right now. I'm getting cancelled. Okay.
No, but it's good. I think it's good for you to not just dive straight into it and say out here, say, yeah, you will, because you don't even know which companies.
No, I need
Exactly.
to do my research on that point. That's for sure.
Yeah. And, you know, we seen the list. Some of it is
It's a
painful.
long list.
It's a long list.
Some of it is painful, is it?
I mean, okay, it's wrong.
Have you been supporting it?
Before?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All of it?
A lot. Yeah. But that was before I knew what their fundings or some of their fundings might go to. Yeah. We try to not say names. We try to not be too political, but I'll show you the list, and
I'll cry in peace.
I think it's important that we...
I definitely know that I can't do anything of that at all around you, and you just give me the look of
Side eye.
like,
What?
oh, what are you having for lunch? Really? Yeah, but
Does
it's
that
true.
taste well?
Yeah, I hope it tastes as good as your awareness. Oh, it's been heavy, man.
I can only speak for myself. I hope that it's very clear where I stand and where my views are. And I will, moving forward, I want to educate myself even more. I want to support more. I want to follow up more. And I also want to contribute more. I think it's something that I will definitely prioritize because, you know, us seeing this on social media and seeing everything on a screen, knowing that this is happening in real life, it does something to you and, you know, changes my priorities a little bit. I think we all hope that something will take into action in a positive way. If you want to get more politically involved or educated in this topic, we are going to put down some links for you where you can follow certain people to learn more on Instagram as well that post quite political point of views. We also gonna post and share links of books and even documentaries you can watch. So if you're interested in that, you're welcome to, you know, have a look at that. Some people might say that we said a whole lot of nothing, but I'm glad that we were able to discuss this.
More likely so to address it.
Yeah. Do you have any final thoughts? Obviously, this is your first podcast, and it's been a heavy one. How have you been feeling today?
We remember that we're actually talking about something that people are living through, and we can look at it from a distance, which we should be lucky about. But yeah, I kind of just urge people to continue to educate themselves on the situation and, I mean, support in ways that feel right for them.
100%.
And yeah, like everyone, I hope something positive comes from all of this and that it's not just, again, a wave of something we see on social media that dies down eventually, but still continues to happen, like so many other things that are going on in the world.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Promise that the next one is going to be more fun.
Yeah, the next episode.
Oh yeah.
Well, Thank you, Keegan, for coming today and for raising your voice. We really appreciate that.
Just the feeling of being able to just say something for someone is better than saying nothing.
Yeah.
So I think that's why we had to do it today.
Yeah. Thank you guys for listening today. We hope that you will like this episode, and if you do, feel free to leave us a comment, share with a friend, tell a friend to tell a friend, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
Right.